All right, here we go. Today we have the first rapper to have a #1 song on Billboard, who had the fastest selling hip hop album ever at that time and still has one of the biggest hip hop albums of all time with over hundreds of millions of records sold worldwide. The artist who played a major role in popularizing hip hop to the rest of the world when it was primarily with an American audience. The man who unintentionally funded Death Row Records with artists like Snoop Dogg. The man who, after his massive hip hop run, made power moves in real estate and continues to thrive financially. It is my honor to sit down with the one and only Vanilla Ice.
What a hell of an introduction.
You like that?
I love it,
you
man.
Love it?
Did you write it on the airplane?
Wrote it this morning.
I love it.
Wrote it this morning after a lot of research. Well, look, you don't have a lot of time today, so I want to get right into it.
Come on in.
So your biggest song, Ice Ice Baby. You wrote that at 16 years old.
Debatable.
Debatable.
Yeah. And I know you're probably going, what? Ninja rap is strong contender.
Okay.
Right now, the youth, your age, it's Ice Ice Baby. College kids 25 and under, it's Ninja rap.
Okay.
They're aware of Ice Ice Baby, but trust me, people buying records today, Ninja rap is crazy.
Okay. So you're living in Dallas. You're a breakdance kid.
Yeah.
And you started to perform on stage.
Yeah.
And things started to take off, and your manager at the time, Tommy Kwan, who's still your manager, by the way, saw some potential in you and had you start going to the studio and start recording. Now, here's where things get a little bit fuzzy. Now, I watched a few of your interviews, and you said you wrote the song yourself, you produced it yourself, but a guy popped up named Mario Chocolate Johnson. Now, he claimed he was living in Dallas at the time. He said that he wrote a diss record against you. And then Quan approached him to work with you. He was also partnered with DJ Earthquake. And he said that he wrote 9 songs.
That was a lie, first of all,
so that's
right
a lie.
there. Oh, there's a lot of lies in there, man.
Okay.
This guy's just probably bitter because we were running this. Remember, I told you DOC was in there with me.
Yep.
I had Dr. Rock, the Feel Fresh crew, so many, big hip hop groups to me at the time locally. We were all running the same streets and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I barely knew this guy, Mario. And to hear all this shit come out, 30 years later is like a shock to me. It's like, what are you sitting at home, twiddling your thumbs, figuring out what to say or do? Everybody knows that this came through Suge Knight. Everybody knows, man. The story has been out there for 30 years. He didn't hang me over no balcony.
Now, I know, and we'll get to that part of the story.
Publishing. And the publishing and the way he took it was through this guy, Mario.
Got it. And I want to get to that part of the story in a second.
Okay.
So, regardless of how it came together, you put together the song, and you guys originally signed to Ichiban Records. Well, you got distributed through Ichiban.
You say you guys. I'm a solo artist.
Well, me
I
and
was
you,
only 16
your manager,
when I wrote Ice
your
Ice
team.
Baby. I know you can research, Vlad, and get all kind of mixed stories out there. And when you want to know the truth, just ask me.
Okay.
Because so many people fluff things up, like he hung over the balcony. I never was hung over a balcony. There's so many things, Vlad. Just ask me the question.
Okay. Well, the song came together, and you signed a distribution deal with Ichiban, right? The original name of the album was Hooked.
Correct.
Okay. You guys put it out, and Ice Ice Baby was the B-side. Play That Funky Music, White Boy was the A-side.
Yeah.
Which didn't really take off. But then when it got sent out, DJ Daryl J in Georgia started to play it.
I think it was Macon, Georgia.
And they started to play it, and it started to take off.
Yeah.
You guys shot a music video. And then SBK came in and signed you.
Yeah.
For $325,000.
There's a little bit you're missing there, but yeah.
Okay.
You want to know what's missing?
What's missing?
Def Jam Records.
Well, they wanted to sign you, but didn't.
They had me signed, had the contract in hand.
Really?
They paid for my plane flight to come to New York City. That's where I was going, was literally that day. Before SBK even became a thing, before it even was brought to my attention, never heard of SBK before.
Okay.
I was on my way on the plane flight, landed in New York with contract to sign with Def Jam. And this was through Public Enemy.
Right, Hank Shockley.
Yay.
Right. Yeah, shout out to Chuck G,
shout
that's my man.
Yeah,
shout out to Flavor Flav, who's been on my show.
Legends.
Okay, but you ended up signing with SBK, which was part of EMI at the time?
Yes.
Okay. So they repackaged.
No, I got a phone call from Tommy, and he says, listen, I'm going to give you, I think it was 7 million reasons why you're not going to sign right now. And you're not going to sign for like less than $1 million for Def Jam. And he says, and I said, well, Tommy, I guess I'm not signing then. Because at first I said, fuck you. I'm not doing shit. I'm signing with Def Jam.
That was the biggest hip hop label.
Bro,
period.
this was my dream come true, all the way smiling ear to ear on the way to my first trip to New York ever to sign a contract with Def Jam.
Yeah.
I think I was 17 or 18 at the time. Oh my God, this was a dream come true. And I land and Tommy gets on the phone and says, we're not signing. Fuck you. Yo, I give you 7 million reasons why. I said, well, I guess I'm not signing. Why? He goes, SBK. Hey, what the hell does that mean? This guy named Charles Koppelman I met. I said, okay. Well, what's that mean? Just wait for me. I'm on my way to New York. And that's where it all started. That's where you're picking up from.
Okay, so you signed to SBK. They repackaged the album and call it To the Extreme. They put some more songs together. Kyrie from the Bay actually did some of the production.
Kyrie is a legend,
yes.
Long-term friend of mine, great dude, man. I wonder where he is today. I'd love to see him. Haven't seen him since 1990. Since way back. I mean, even before that, 80s. Is he still alive?
I hope so.
Where is Kyrie?
Haven't heard from him in a while.
Great dude, man.
Okay, so did the single come out first or the album? Well, I mean, the single was out, but did it get
we didn't
re-released
have enough
first?
money. We didn't have enough money to buy photography or videos, but we had the music out. And I was always doing, the street club scene. So I was a big dancing guy and created my own subculture following. And the minute it hit K104 on the radio, it was the highest requested right away. Play that funky music. It was playing all over the place. So people started getting a buzz on who this Vanilla Ice kid is and what's going on with this guy. Oh, that's the kid, the white kid? They didn't know I was white or black, but locally they did. But when Ice Ice Baby came out in Macon, we didn't have anything but a black cover, and it was just a blank, and it just says, Ice Ice Baby, B-side, play that funky music, A-side. And that guy, him and Dave Morales, flipped it. And he called Dave Morales, and Dave Morales was in Atlanta. He was over there in Macon, Georgia, and it's the Dirty South. It blew up. And it was number one on black radio for, almost a year before it went to pop or anything ever happened with even seeing a white audience or I never saw a white person at any concert I ever even played and never thought I would. And then all of a sudden something happened. SBK. Because I did the whole chitlin circuit, man. I was all over that. I never thought rap music would ever go crossover like that. And I guess I was right in the middle of when the crossover happened, right? It was exact same time when the cassette was over and the CD came out.
Yeah.
So I got both sales by another one. And now I'm getting digital sales. It's unbelievable how it takes on a life of its own and becomes an anthem, because some people who don't understand it might think it's just another song blended into Ice Ice Baby, just another song blended into the 90s. It's so much more than that. And it became an anthem.
Well, Ice Ice Baby, and you could hold the trophy for this forever, was the first rap single to go number one on the Billboard 100. Not the rap charts, not the R&B charts, the main Billboard 200 charts. You were the first rapper to actually do that.
And I appreciate you for not throwing the word white in there.
Rapper.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Ain't no category for white rapper, black rapper.
Yep.
It don't happen. It's not there. It never will be.
And then the album To the Extreme at the time became the fastest selling hip hop album of all time. It spent 16 weeks on number one on the Billboard 200. It knocked MC Hammer off that number one spot. It sold 15 million copies worldwide at that time. It was selling 1 million copies a day at one point.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, it is the highest sell still today. Guinness World Record book. I wish I had an ego to freaking really absorb all that.
Well, right.
It just sounds like a list of cool stuff and I just go, wow, And then I got to go be an adult and accept responsibilities and pay bills and do construction. It's so weird, but it is quite an accomplishment, man. I have many chapters to my life, and there's a lot of stories, and like I said, we could sit on the front porch and write many books, but it's weird how it has no effect on me today. No gratitude, no any kind of, like I should feel some way when you rattle all these accomplishments off, right? Because that's what fuels me is accomplishments. But once you've accomplished them, you have to have ones every day to wake up to go accomplish. You're over those, But it's great that I did accomplish them. And I tell my kids that. I go, listen, I can buy you everything you want, but if you don't have a sense of accomplishment of doing something yourself, you're never going to really appreciate it. And they're right. And she graduated, my older one, and then the other one's figuring it out. And they actually I pay all their bills, but they You know, they pay taxes. They're making money.
Well, the song sampled Under Pressure by David Bowie and Freddie Mercury. Back then, no one cleared any samples because there weren't enough albums to sell to even go through the effort of suing anybody. But this song went gigantic.
Yes.
And David and Freddie said, hey, we want some of that money.
Yeah. So that's funny because you thank you for saying that and understanding that. So many people don't understand it, that hip hop was there before my record. They think I'm the first person to ever sample a song and make a hip hop song out of it. And I'm not. EPMD did it a decade before me.
Yeah.
You have Run DMC doing it. But then I realized that I'm the first one to cross over. If you're the first one to cross over into the pop market, then they think you're the first one to sample a record. They've never considered listening to hip hop before. And now that they're listening to it for the first time, they think, wait a minute, I've heard this song. It sounds like Queen, Under Pressure. And it was. So they opened up an entire building on Avenue of Americas in New York City. And it had a big thing on the top called sample clearances, all because of my record.
Yes.
I'm talking every floor, and we're talking 100 floors. Unbelievable, because of me. And that's the enormous amount of records I was selling. And I'm like, well, why didn't you go after Run DMC? And I looked at the record sales. It says gold, which is at the time, 500,000 for a hip hop record. You can go back. That was big, very successful.
Yes.
You have to understand, we are the generation that hip hop was invented in. So we watched it grow from 0 sales to 500,000. Oh my God, Run DMC is the top, right? Like killing it. Mm-hmm. And they had to give all their publishing away to Aerosmith to be able to pull that off. But look at the notoriety. It brought them to the top of hip hop, you know, by just doing something genius. And everybody was sampling, and I just did what I was influenced by, right? So sampling was part of hip hop, and it still is. I mean, Puff Daddy did it even after, they still do it. Even after the lawsuits, they're still doing it.
Yes.
Some of them are doing it illegally. Look what happened to Big
Biz Markie.
Big and Thick, Biz Markie,
Yeah.
all these guys, God, man, it's just unbelievable. What did the Marvin Gaye has been getting paid a lot?
Oh
since
yeah,
his
off
death.
of Blurred Lines.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And
Robin
what was the
Thicke.
recent one he just got with Ed Sheeran?
Oh yeah, got a piece
He
of
got that
too.
one too.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah,
They're
now
like,
it's
we're not
not,
going
it's
to
not
settle
about
out of court.
sampling anymore. It's about the feel of the song. It's gotten even more serious.
Resembles it in any way.
Exactly.
You've stolen their idea.
Yep.
So sample clearances is a big thing, and mechanical clearances now have become a big thing because you can replay it and they think that they're not going to steal.
Yeah.
And that's what they still get you.
Well, what's interesting was that, you went back and, you gave them the credit for the song, but then I guess at one point you realized it was easier just to buy the song as opposed to just license it. So you have a piece of Under Pressure that you own.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you own the whole song?
Yeah, it was better to actually buy the publishing because at the time I didn't know how this worked.
Yeah.
So if you go way back, you might remember, this is how I learned. Michael Jackson was going against the Beatles.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney.
Yep.
For the publishing of the Beatles. And I go, wait a minute. How come Paul McCartney don't have the right to just have that anyway? Why is he trying to buy his own music back? I don't get that. What's that mean, publishing? I was young. And I saw Michael Jackson own it.
Yep.
And publishing is a very difficult thing. Once people own it, they don't want to sell any part of it ever because it's a long-term faucet of money coming in forever.
Yeah.
So I realized, so publishing, that's what it is. And I learned at a young age, most artists still have no idea what publishing even means or how it works or the business behind it or anything. Mm-hmm. And then those people are probably being ripped off right now. 90%. So I found out about that and I go, so wait a minute, I'm going through a lawsuit. It's going to cost me $4 million to just buy the song. And because Freddie Mercury died and David Bowie died, so neither Brian May doesn't have much of the publishing. He just played a guitar part. The publishing part of a guitar part is like crumbs. He'd rather take the $4 million and just give that song to Vanilla Ice and let it play and have a fun with it. Since I
you bought it
took
for
it
$4
to number
million.
one anyway.
Okay.
And we became friends and everybody knows I'm a huge Queen fan. Freddie Mercury is the rock god, okay? I love that band and always have, and I think everybody kind of has grown with them too. So when I did it in my way and put it in hip hop, man, I mean, it was necessary. It was needed, and it helped Queen too, help their fan base be youthful and regenerative. So it pushes their whole thing that they're doing.
So every time Under Pressure or Ice Ice Baby gets played in a movie, on a commercial, whatever, A check goes to you.
100%.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so here you are. You're going multi.
I also bought my publishing too. So.
Oh, you bought your own publishing back also?
Oh, yes.
How much did that cost
of
you?
It. Millions.
Millions.
Man. But it's made me hundreds of millions.
Okay.
So it's a big, it's a trade out.
Yeah.
A lot of artists would rather take the 7 years. Every 7 years, what happens is it comes back up. Their publishing has to come back to them, and then whoever owns it gets a chance to, republic with them for another 7 years, and then they'll get paid for that. So they'll get an advance. And somebody will say, here, I'll give you for your publishing, let's just say probably, because Old Dirty Bastard's got publishing. It's selling somewhere, right? Like, where is it selling to? Who's getting the check? Somebody is. Somebody has to, do that publishing every year. And that money is going to come in forever. So, that's an important thing to understand and know how your publishing goes, because the checks get much bigger, but most people can't afford to buy their own publishing, and it's not for sale. Some people will buy it for a long term, BMG has Elvis Presley and they'll never sell it. And every Christmas they'll release another Elvis Presley album and make $100 million. You know what I mean? So the strength behind BMG record label is the publishing of Elvis. Mm-hmm. So every time they fail on a new artist that didn't get their advance back from, it didn't sell like they thought, no big deal. Let's throw an Elvis album out. It'll cover every expense and everything we ever had, because we own Elvis publishing.
Forever.
Well, guess who owns freaking Beatles? All of that Beatle money is going to Michael Jackson. And guess who owns Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson too. Yeah. So all that goes to him as well. You want to talk about a money faucet.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had his publishing things correct.
So
you learn a lot from him.
The album is blowing up. You go on a world tour on your own. Things are getting better and better for you. Suge Knight starts managing chocolate. And you're eating at the Palm restaurant one day and Suge just pops up on you.
I didn't know that at the time.
You didn't know that, right.
Suge managed him? No. Yeah. I don't even think it went that way, but okay. I think there's a different story there. The streets have different stories than probably your common research on your computer.
Okay. Well, Suge pops up at you at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And he was friendly.
Yeah.
Then he pops up on you again at Benihana.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once again,
starts
relatively
eating some
friendly.
Of my food too.
He starts eating your food?
Yeah, he asked. He's nice. He's always smiling and friendly. You have to understand, like, this picture that Vic Walters painted about him is a complete different picture of what most of the people's public perception is about Suge Knight. He had a good personality. He was funny. We got along. Suge and I really never had a problem, a disagreement, or anything like that. I understood who he was. You don't need to beat Vanilla Ice up if you understand who someone is. You don't need to hang him over a balcony. The polishing of this story 30 years later has taken on so many different avenues and stories. I have to constantly just remind people, oh, he never hung me over the balcony and none of that ever happened. And this is phony baloney. It's just the propaganda of the fluff of the way, I guess, that people fluff things up with interviews and reporters and nothing to you, but it's just very common. And I think people understand that now with politics.
Well, then at one point, you come back to your hotel room with your two bodyguards, you open the door, and Suge is there in your room.
Yeah.
With like 5 guys.
Yeah.
What happens next?
I saw that they all had guns right away, and that they're not to be fucked with, but they're very well dressed and smelled good. And they were all smiling and saying they're huge fans, and they wanted to take pictures for their daughters and their family. And I did. And everything was cool until Suge said he'd like to talk to me on the balcony, alone. And I said, oh, okay, it's fine with me. My bodyguard stood up and he got slapped down.
He slapped the bodyguards?
Oh, yeah.
Himself or one of his guys?
I hate to tell you, he slapped him so hard and made him cry, my bodyguard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Took his gun they took his gun from him too.
Suge took your bodyguard's gun?
No, Suge didn't.
Oh, one of his guys did?
No. His guys, if you want to call them that, I think they were there for backup.
Okay.
I don't know if I should tell you too much. They were there. I'm not going to tell you who they were because I do know. And I'm not going to say all this stuff. I'm going to let you float around on your story a little bit. Take some of the truth and stretch it like everybody else does.
Wasn't Chocolate there?
Chocolate was there in tears. In fact, he wasn't there. The first 5 people that came in my room, he was not there. Okay. They brought him in about 30 minutes later.
Aha.
And he was in tears, and he had a black eye, And you could see that he had been hit in his side of his face several times.
Huh.
And his face over here was swelled up like this. And his lip was like this. And he was crying and his eyes were red. And they brought him in. What the fuck are you doing here, man? What the fuck is all this? That's when I went to the balcony with Suge.
Okay.
And he explained to me that basically I'm joining a fraternity. And I go, what is this? I know who you are. I mean, I know all this, but what do you want from me? You want some money. Everything's money. What would you want from stupid little Vanilla Ice if it wasn't for money, right? So, yeah, Ice, I got Jerry Heller. I got Eazy-E. I got all these people. Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy and all these people. I can name a list of people that pay him to be in this fraternity. I'm like, man, this sounds great. I'm like, so if I sign these papers, you guys are going to give me protection in the city. Nobody's going to mess with me. And they say, yeah, Ice, you always protected, bro. You're in the elite. Are now in the elite. You are in the club. And I go, cool, man, sign. I didn't know I was signing away publishing. This is before all the publishing. You understand? Before I got all the publishing and learned about Michael Jackson, before all that. So you have to backtrack. This is how I learned about it. And I'm like, what did I sign? What was it? Tommy was like, you did good. You're still alive. That's all you need to worry about. You made the right decision. And I still am alive, and I must have made the right decision.
Right.
You got to understand, for me, this is intense for the people listening and watching the story of Vanilla Ice and Suge Knight and Death Row Records. It's very fascinating. To all the people, they must be like, God, the shit he had to go through and the money they must have stolen from him and all this shit, right? So I never cared about the money. Never, ever did, never do, don't now. You ain't born with it, you ain't gonna die with it. This is all a reward from what I really cared about, which was poetry. And all this stemmed from me being a little kid in the 7th grade writing poetry, love notes to these girls. And I never told anybody because that's how I got the girls. And I didn't want to give my secret away for the next guys to get my girls. How do you get all these chicks? I said, I write these sweet little love poems, man, and they love it.
Okay. So
and
you end up signing.
Came from that. This is all poetry, man, and entertainment. That's it.
So you ended up
I
signing
was never
away.
bitter about what Suge Knight did. Does that make sense?
Okay.
People think, oh my God, it's such a big deal. To me, I'm in a club. I'm cool, man. I'm in a fraternity. Hell yeah.
Suge went to him and pretty much punked him out of his shit with Chocolate, saying that he wrote the shit the whole nine.
Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah, didn't have nothing to do with it.
So Chocolate had nothing to do with that song?
No. He took the contract to Vanilla Ice, made him sign it, and they gave him a check for it.
So you signed away part of your publishing, which was worth around $4 million. Now, at the time, more now, and this money actually was the seed money that launched Death Row Records.
Correct.
Okay. Now, your manager, Tommy Kwan, in an interview said that he had already taken care of this paperwork weeks before the incident. That's what he said himself.
That he took care of what?
He already signed over the publishing to Chocolate weeks before.
Oh no, you have to understand that Suge Knight went to him as well.
Oh, he approached him.
Yeah, but see, Tommy's not gonna tell you shit. Tommy's a secretive dude, man. He's like, I ain't putting no target on my forehead. I don't know anything, man.
Okay.
But you know, there's a lot of stuff I'll leave out, and I'm not gonna incriminate anybody here or nothing stupid like that. But some of the details that will never be unfolded. But I'm gonna tell you right now that this was all a strong arm from Suge Knight to basically come in and take publishing money. And then that's how I knew who he was, and I knew he was coming. I didn't know he was gonna be in my room when I checked in at the Beverly Hills place there, but there he was. And then I already I sensed this was coming. I know who you are and all that. I had no idea that Chocolate was involved in any of this. He walks in beat up, and they put him there to get the collection of the publishing, which basically was Suge Knight's money. That's how it ended up in Death Row.
Okay, so I interviewed Virgil Roberts, who was the president of Solar Records, who Suge was doing some work with at the time that helped work with Death Row originally. This is what he told me on camera. He said that Suge was managing Chocolate. They approached him, and Chocolate claimed that he wrote all these songs for you. And he goes, well, prove it. He goes, well, I have all the original lyric sheets. So he brought him the lyric sheets. He goes, well, this doesn't prove anything. He goes, well, go back and look at the original release of Vanilla Ice's album, and my name is on there. Once he saw that, he said, okay, that's enough for me to believe this. He gave him a $400,000 advance, which was the most Suge had ever seen at the time. And then he filed a lawsuit with EMI. And once the lawsuit was filed, EMI agreed and gave them the publishing to Chocolate.
Right.
So Suge and Chocolate come in, and they tell us this story about how he was from Texas. They had a club there where they had an open mic, and he would go, and he met Bobby Winkle's guy, is Vanilla Ice, and they exchanged a lot of things. And then Suge had brought Chocolate out to California. He was managing Chocolate. He brought him out and said, you need to be in California if you're going to get a record deal and progress in your career. So he said he was at, I guess Suge had him in his apartment, and he was watching MTV, and he saw Bobby Winkle's doing Ice Ice Baby. He said, that's my song. And so I said, yeah, right. So, what kind of evidence or proof you have? He says, well, the lyrics that I wrote for all these songs, I left with my girlfriend in Texas. I'll have her send them. So he sent out the lyric sheets. I saw those, but lyric sheets are something that you could make up, right? I mean,
right.
You go home tonight and write them. But there was a record that I think Vanilla Ice's manager was Tommy Chung. They had released an independent record in Texas with Vanilla Ice. And on the record, they'd given Chocolate credit for the songs. Okay, Capitol Records had picked it up. And when they picked up Vanilla Ice and put out his records, they hadn't given him credit for the songs. So I said, okay, this looks like pretty good evidence that you did write these songs. And so at that point in history, we had a joint venture deal with Sony, and it covered music and publishing. And so I called up the head of Sony's publishing company and said, I found somebody that I think has written hit songs in Vanilla Ice. I saw millions of records, and those are songs that we can get a piece of. They said, great, make a deal. So I gave Chocolate a $400,000 advance to do a co-publishing deal with him. And Suge was the manager, and he was getting, I think, 25%. That was the most money he had made in his life.
Right. He just made $100,000.
Just made $100,000.
I know it's funny, man, how it all unfolds, right? It's like there's so many avenues to this, and people just wanting to get in my pockets for a little song I wrote when I was 16 years old. It's so fucking funny. And then they try to come out 30 years later and get notoriety or something. It's weird how this is like, were they in my living room when I was 16? Man, I was 10th grade dropout. I mean, are you kidding me? Motocrosser in Dallas, Texas. I don't think so. All this came to a thing when Suge Knight found out that Vanilla Ice is someone we should target to get a lot of money on, and it worked. And Death Row came out, and Tupac came out because of Vanilla Ice.
Right.
Snoop Dogg, all of them know it. I'm friends with Tupac.
Rage,
you have to
goes on and on.
understand, I'm friends with all these people. I know the truth. I know everything that you don't and you wish you knew about everything hip hop, from Puffy to everything, from Biggie to all of it, all the shit you wish you knew, and I won't elaborate.
Fair enough.
Streets know.
Streets know. How do you feel about Suge getting 28 years in prison for the killing of Terry?
I don't have any comment about that.
Fair enough.
I think that might be something probably that people kind of probably were just coming after Suge in many ways, and this was an opportunity to put him down for something. I don't know. I don't know the whole story behind that. I heard that somebody was trying to kill him, so he just punched his car and he ran
he got
somebody
beat
over.
up by Bone. He backed up and then went forward, hit Bone, and then ran over Terry, who was his actual friend, which was an accident. And I think if it wasn't Suge, it would have probably been self-defense. But since it's Suge and the whole history, and you're part of this history, of course.
I do not take any sides on this. I plead the fifth.
There you go.
Don't know anything to even comment.
Then the next big song was the Ninja Rap. Which, by the way, if you watch the new Ninja Turtles animated film, they actually play it for a moment during one of the fight scenes.
Did Chocolate write that too?
Okay, so things are going crazy for you. And of course, there's the backlash of being white in hip hop. I get called a culture vulture.
Oh, really?
I get called a culture vulture 1,000 times a day. So I can relate to what you were going through. Not quite at the level you were at, of course, but at my own level, with my millions of viewers a day, I get the same crap. So I can understand. I remember you won at the American Music Awards, and you said, "Kiss my white butt."
That's right.
That's right. And then the next day, you had Arsenio Hall.
That's right.
You sat down with him. And I interviewed Arsenio Hall. What he told me, and I'm like, listen, you went pretty hard at Vanilla Ice. He goes, well, I wasn't trying to. I had wrong information because, you know, he said the bio your label had written was wrong. So, you know, you didn't go to high school with Luke. You were much younger than he was. And he also said he was having a bad day and so forth.
I'm not sure if I was poking fun at him as much, because to be totally honest with you, I wasn't feeling funny. I'd had a long, hard day. And I probably wasn't feeling like teasing anyone. I'd had some things go on in the research process with him, and I had been misled with some information that was about to go out to my audience that night. Some things that were untrue, some intentional lies, and I felt I was being used, and my audience trusts me. My audience knows that if I say it, or if I'm dealing with something, I at least believe it, or I'm trying to be an honest man. And it started in the middle of the day when I was given this statistic about him winning a motocross competition or something, and I found out it was untrue, and then this was untrue, and that was untrue. And it just was a confrontational day. So I probably didn't deal with Vanilla Ice in the way that people are accustomed to me dealing with guests, because I'm that warm and fuzzy guy. Yeah. But it wasn't a warm and fuzzy day.
But when I watched it again, he was definitely shading you.
Yeah, he was.
You know, he said,
He's a hater.
you know, so you're a white rapper being suppressed and getting revenge.
Isn't that racist? What if I went in there and reversed it, and it was Jay Leno and said, so you're a black rapper and you're being, you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
He came at me.
Right.
And his show got canceled right after that.
You brought out Flavor Flav, and he criticized that.
Yeah, he didn't like that because he thought, because Flav was actually, we were hanging all week. Flav and I were buddies.
I love Flav, man.
The best.
I love Flav.
The greatest fucking legend ever, man.
He mentioned KRS-One dissing you, saying that you presented a distorted mutation of rap.
Yeah, and now KRS-One and I are friends.
Right. He tried to say that you were beefing with MC Hammer, which you weren't.
You know, it's a lot of propaganda. It's like, you know, when they do that Trump thing and everybody get on the Trump hater wagon. You've seen it. It happens. People have hatred for no reason. Why? Because I've told to. Because that person does it. Because it's the trend. And that's what happens when you're the #1 selling hip hop artist of all time. Whether you're white or black, they're going to come at you.
Yes.
The fact that you're white and you're doing it, they're going to come at you even more.
Makes it worse.
But good God, look at all the publicity and entertainment created by it. Because all this is entertainment.
Yeah.
People take things so serious. Like, look at you. You're just wanting to research and dissect and stuff, and you create a fan base because of your curiosity that might see your same curiosity levels and want to know these things, right? And it's so funny how that you can cater to people who, you know, appreciate what you're doing. And that's all you're doing, and that's all I'm doing. But isn't it just entertainment?
It is all entertainment. It's all smoke and mirrors.
So you really don't take everything so serious. This is all entertainment.
Right. And people were really taking a lot of shots at you. SNL did a whole skit where Chris Rock said, I call Vanilla Ice Elvis because I wish he was dead. And then Kevin Bacon came out and played you.
I love it. Bro, listen. Not
You
just
guys
Kevin
look a little
Bacon.
bit
How
similar,
about
by
my
the way.
greatest of all time, when Jim Carrey came out and flipped the shoe on Living Color?
I forgot about that.
I was like, bro, these people know who I am. These are A-list celebrities. I'm a kid. I came up, right? I had already been 3 years on the Stop the Violence tour. No, I knew everybody in, like, you know, NWA. I said, there's Eazy-E coming down the hallway. Look out. They got guns. Don't say anything. Then they walk by. Hi. I used to think they were real gangsters and shit, you know? But it was really weird. But yeah, I've seen it all, man. And it's a crazy story how everything has some sort of detail to it.
Yeah.
It's all just entertainment. Sit back and enjoy it. How deep do you want to go for something that happened 30 years ago? Let's continue on, bro.
Let's do it.
I'm just amazed that anybody gives a shit.
Well,
Something that happened 30 years ago. Don't we have enough shit on the planet today to talk about today? Going back 30 years.
Third Base did a diss song, Pop Goes the Weasel. And by the way,
So anytime, let's just
Well,
stop
let me just say this before I go on. I interviewed MC Serch, and MC Serch is a bitch and a liar on top of it. Let me just put that out there just to show you where I'm at. I did an interview with me for him to go and do a bunch of lies about me and say that I tricked him and a bunch of bullshit. You know, Pete Nice calls him a liar as well.
Did you ever hear my verse? I dissed him.
I did actually. Was
Pete
it?
Nice looks like he sings for Color Me Bad, you know? I told him, I said, man, what's MC Serch needs to search for some bifocals. He's got them big bifocals, word, looking like a hip hop nerd, and that other punk makes me laugh. Looks like he sings by Color Me Bad. Shit, dude, come on, man. This is all entertainment.
And I think it was really all jealousy because they didn't sell a fraction of what you sold.
Nobody
at the end
did.
of the day, but they felt they were real hip hop. And, you know, Serch always comes up with the term was word to the mother and he said word to my mother and I got offended. It's really just jealousy from my point of view.
I love how they take it so serious, man. I sit back and laugh at these people. I'm like, really?
Well, what happened between you and Mark Wahlberg, aka Marky Mark? Because you dissed him back, but I couldn't find when he said anything about you.
Oh, no. Listen, we're friends.
Okay.
So that was just a really funny comment. Sometimes I'm a comedian when I'm rhyming, you know, and that's what happens. Something like that'll come out. There is no tension between Mark Wahlberg and I. We're Donnie and I friends. We talk all the time. I'm friends with that whole Wahlberg family. I don't know if you saw the new movie. Have you seen the new trailer for the new movie?
Not yet.
Pause for the cause. So they're doing a road trip.
Okay. Okay.
There's Mark Wahlberg. He's a legend.
He's rapping along to
what
Ice
he's
Ice
done
Baby.
is incredible, bro.
Yes.
Throughout like this whole trailer and the movie, they said my song is just all in it, right? Like Step Brothers, like all these different movies and stuff. You know, I see all the hate. I have a phrase that's the best phrase ever. You know, I feel sorry for Justin Bieber who had to go through all the stuff when he was doing drugs and pissing on the old men off the bridges. I don't know if you heard about all that. And driving the Lamborghini and getting caught by the cop in Miami, blah, blah, blah. And I go, this kid's going through something that I know what he's going through and probably not another person can understand it right now but me. And what he's doing is can't figure out artificial life of being an entertainer and being a real person. Yeah. Because when you're young, like me, when I was 16, you have no way to differentiate the difference, you know? And you're really just a kid, but you have all this responsibility on your shoulder and you have to be an adult, whether you like it or not. So I was like, man, get him a tool belt, bring him over here. I'll tell him the difference. Don't take it so serious. What's going on? He's going to end up in the 27 club and kill himself or something stupid, you know, because they take things so serious. This is just entertainment. Don't let the words get to you. So my phrase is, never cater to a hater, just say later. Here's the truth. Why don't you just cater to the ones that appreciate what you're doing?
Facts.
Why do we ever let anybody that doesn't appreciate what we're doing into our brain at all? Focus on the people that appreciate you. I'm sure you do it, right?
Of course.
You're not catering to haters.
Okay. By 1994, you know, this is what you were just talking about with Justin Bieber. Something similar with yourself is you started using more drugs, ecstasy, cocaine, and heroin. And then on July 4th, you end up having a heroin overdose. Was this because of just dealing with the backlash? You know, the record sales were kind of going down at this point?
I just explained it to you 100% what I went through, and I didn't want to put that part in there, but how I learned to differentiate it was that. So I didn't know. And the reason I didn't, I let it all get to me. This is why I could tell Justin Bieber this or something, you know, because I let that stress, that everything as a young kid coming down on me, more pressure than anybody could ever imagine, probably more pressure than anybody ever to make a song. Ever in the history of music.
Okay.
And we're including Elvis because he had to face a lot of the stuff I kind of had to face. That's why there were similarities, you know, coming up in the form of music he was doing and the way he was gyrating and all this, right? Same shit with me. But Justin Bieber could use some, you know, a lesson from from how I got through it. Because my therapy was basically, I tried to take myself out because I thought that this was the way my life was going to be forever. I exaggerated to myself. I'm like, you know, this is my life now. This is every dream that I thought came true turned into the worst nightmare, and I'm going to live this nightmare now for the rest of my life. Oh my God, I'm only like 19 or 20 at the time. I'm ready to die. Oh no, this was
No,
27.
this was later. Yeah,
I was
27.
about to join the 27 club because this was after the jet ski tour.
This was 27. You're
Yeah,
exactly right.
I was right
You were
in
about
the
to join the 27 club.
Jesus Christ, I was
exactly
about
it.
to join the 27 club. I need to just now put that together. I was there. And I don't know, something must happen in your mid-20s where you have this thing where you figure out, like in the 30s, you get a better perspective of what life is really about and how to be responsible, accept bills and pay taxes. And then you have all this confusion in your 20s of where my life's going. What am I going to be? Do I do this to help? What kind of career am I going to have? Do I need to go to college? And you're confused. Imagine being me. Imagine walking in my shoes at that time of your life and getting all the heat and fire and excitement at the same time on a scale enormous. It was very hard, and that's why I say Justin Bieber. So I turned to drugs as that's the weakest part of my life, and I used it as an escape route to get away from reality. Because every time I was in reality, every interview I did was about hating this. I saw the hate coming down on me. You know, I seen it all, man. I already knew that everything that was up could never stay there forever.
Yeah.
So there was gonna be okay, but who could have ever saw selling 500 million records? I didn't have no crystal ball. I never knew this was going to happen, man. I was just, making music just like everybody else. And then all of a sudden it took on a life of its own. It became an anthem, and it became so big that it had to come down so big. And it hit most people who hit the shore after the wave crashes stays on the shore, and they're like, I'll never swim out in that mess again. God dang, it almost killed me.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that says, I'm swimming back out and catch another wave.
How long have you been clean now?
Oh shit, since then.
Since then.
I don't even hang out. I don't have anything to do with drugs, man.
I love it.
Nothing at all, never
Love
will.
it.
Totally against it. Keep it away from me. Don't have any friends around me that would never associate with people who do that because of what I went through. And it's on a level of like, I don't tolerate it at all, of zero.
I love it.
Get it away from me, dude.
Congratulations, man, because a lot of people don't come back. They relapse.
Yeah.
They go in and out of rehab, but that was not you.
I learned right then and there the most valuable lesson of my life was that all this is artificial. Everything that you just about killed yourself at 27 is phony. You were exaggerating to yourself. You're looking at this life that you've created and this persona that is larger than life, and you're thinking that's you. That's not you. You're just Rob, man. You're simple Rob, the motocross kid, man, the jackass that was before Jackass and Johnny Knoxville. You're that guy. And once I figured that out, there was a separation. That's the separation that I was telling you that Justin Bieber needed. And then all of a sudden, this artificial thing's the same thing I tell my kids. Everything is artificial out there. Everything is artificial. And then when dad comes home, that's dad. It's just dad. It's what I do for a living. It has a big impact on people's opinions. It's entertaining. It's all over TMZ to everything in the world, and it's interesting to people. But it's not real.
Eminem, when he dropped Just Don't Give a Fuck, he said, I'm nicer than Pete. I'm on a search to crush a milk bone. I'm everlasting. I melt vanilla ice like silicone. Now, I don't think that was a diss. He was just naming white rappers.
That's not a
one
diss.
after another.
That's not a diss.
Not a diss.
He's never
when I
dissed.
heard it, I'm like, okay, this is clever wordplay of naming the white rappers.
He mentions
and
me
playing
in
off.
songs, colored his hair just like me.
Right.
I don't know, man.
And
What's
then,
funny is I don't have any comment about Eminem. It's the funniest thing ever. It's like I'm supposed to have one. And the only reason why I think that people want me to have an opinion about Eminem is because he's white. And it's really weird. I look at him like I do not see the white. I see there's a rapper.
Yeah.
And there's Coolio, a rapper. There's Jay-Z, a rapper. There's Drake, a rapper. There's Future, a rapper. There's Kodak, a rapper. I don't have any opinions or comments that would be entertaining to people about Eminem, and it's kind of funny. I'm
not looking for you to diss Eminem or anything of that sort. You guys did go back and forth. He took a few more shots at you throughout.
Oh, I took shots at him.
You
I
talked
said,
shots at
Eminem,
him.
Eminem stands for mini-me.
Right. And you even
Not
said,
even a
you even
diss.
said millions of dollars I've been spending them. I love rap. I paved the way for Eminem.
Yeah.
Your line in
Yes, it
Hip Hop Rules.
Correct. And it's true too, isn't it?
You and them went back and forth, but I don't think Eminem could absolutely deny that you were not a huge influence on who he was.
He looked like an idiot if he denied that. You know that. Come on.
Yeah.
The obvious is the obvious. I don't think he ever would. I don't think he dissed me. I don't think there's any reason for him to. I don't think it would benefit him in any way, that's for sure. Because he'd get a backlash of 500 million fans that I have around the world that are a subculture following now. So big that they've been with me and they're new. Like I have a lot of new fans that are 25 and under, college kids. I just played Texas Tech. And I'm like, how do these kids even know who I am? It was all the music I did was before they were born. They're a different generation, but thank God for YouTube. It translates and they pick up on whatever they want to pick up on, whether it's old or new. I mean, I listen to Otis Redding. I can sing every song. He died before I was born, you know? It's just music has timeless songs throughout history, and Ice Ice Baby is one of them. And the Ninja Rap will forever live with the youth because every kid that grows up, every parent goes, I listened to that when I was a kid. I was a Ninja Turtle too. And now my son gets to be a Ninja Turtle. And yay, go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Play that video all over the place. Thank God for YouTube to kind of help us stay current and relevant if they choose to pick up on it. A lot of people have faded out. A lot of acts that if you look at the charts, when I was number one on the charts, you'll see a lot of acts, a lot of songs. You're like, oh my God, I forgot whatever happened to them. What happened to Two in a Room and all these songs and stuff? They fade away because the new generation don't really gravitate to it. They don't really gravitate to it. So there's something there that always keeps me as Vanilla Ice youthful.
Well, you wanted to box Eminem, and you guys had the same lawyer or something at one point.
Huh?
Yeah, you mentioned it in an interview. I watched it. You offered to box him, and he turned you down.
That's awesome. I'll do it again. Let's go. Now, it's all entertainment. I don't have any problems with Eminem. I don't give a shit, to be honest with you. I don't really know enough to even comment, and I wish him all the best. I wish I had a comment because people want it. I get the Eminem question, right? And I'm like, what could I say to entertain these people to say something cool? I don't listen to Eminem to give you any comments to really listen or watch videos or anything. I do construction. It's just like, it's out of sight, out of mind to me.
Well,
and in order to give it a comment, you would need it to be insight and in your mind.
Yes. Well, I just interviewed Todd Bridges. That's someone you did box.
Yeah.
You guys were on, what was the show that you guys were on together?
Oh, boxing celebrities.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Celebrity something. I remember I interviewed him just recently, about a month ago, and he said before the fight, he said, listen, I'm not going to lose on national television.
I was like, look, dude, I'm not losing on national TV. So you better be ready. And that's when I was chunky too. I was thick and I was still mad at the world. I wasn't mad at the world, but I was still mad.
Well, we were drunk the night before in the bar, and I had Tank Abbott over there. He's like, he got us all drunk. It was his fault. Tank, thanks, Tank. Tank Abbott comes in and goes, and just, I don't even know what happened, man. It was all just entertainment. You can know it's all entertainment. Nothing to take serious.
Well, you were actually with ODB right before he died.
Yeah, I was with ODB before he died.
On stage.
Yep.
Can you tell me about that?
It was not a good memory for me because we all know he died of drugs and he was smoking crack, but he came on my tour bus, man, and right before his show, because he didn't have anything to, no green room back there or anything. It's at the gathering of the Juggalos, and I knew he was about to go on stage, and I could see that his eyes were really glassy, and you could tell that he had just hit up, and I was like, man, just thinking in my head, I was like, how are you going to go perform? You can barely even look me in the face and say 2 words. Maybe he can remember all of his, this is ODB, he's a legend. He never wrote a song in the studio, never wrote the words, he just freestyled it. So I knew that he had an ability there, that maybe it just kind of took over once the crowd got out there and he'd be all right, and I was like, I got to go see this. So I sat on the side of the stage with him, and he went out there and didn't know how to talk at all and was scratching his head, and his DJ was on the same level as him and didn't know which button to push on the Roger Lynn. And I go back there and I come out on stage because they were throwing watermelons at him and rocks and stuff. And I had to explain to the crowd, I go, listen, man, I'm just going to level with you guys. He's really fucked up right now, this guy, and he can't comprehend what's going on. But you have to understand, this guy is a legend. This is Wu-Tang Clan, man, one of the greatest rappers and poets of all time. And maybe fucked up. And he's showcasing to you guys right now that he got a little too fucked up because he's having a good time out here with all you guys. And they cheered it. They stopped throwing shit. And they were like, we understand, man. And I went back to the DJ and I hit play and we put, baby, yeah, I got your money. All he needed to do was play a song. If he would have just played any song, one beat, they would have loved it. But he stood out there for so long going, and they played it and they cheered him and gave him a standing ovation as he walked off. Not even 2 weeks later, I even did a song with him. I did a song with him.
And it never came out.
It never came out.
And it never will come out.
It never will come out. I would never do that to him or family or any of those people. But he was a friend of mine at the last part of his life, which was probably the worst part of his life. But we did have some good conversations when he wasn't high. You know what I mean? He was all there. Dude was a badass. Freaking poet, man. But yeah, that stuff gets you, and it doesn't let you go. And if you're not strong enough to get away from it or have self-discipline to pull yourself out of something, it's got you. You're just going to go with it. And he was way too deep. You could tell, man. Poor guy.
My question though, what did you do early on that kept you financially stable and now financially flourishing at this point in your life?
So what I did was find another passion. And it's homes and real estate. So I got hit by Hurricane Andrew on Star Island. I had a home for 12 years.
You had a home on Star Island.
12 years I lived on Star Island.
You were balling back then. All right.
I've been balling
You've
since
been
I
balling
started at
since you
16,
started,
bro. I
right.
ain't never lost no money. You got to get it right and tight, bro. I'm straight.
Okay.
Investment-wise, the Iceman's got it down.
Got it.
I do really well, and I like to help other people out. And
Okay.
that's a big thing. Charity-wise, I help children that are terminal out. I do lots of great things with my money. And I have lots of people that are working for me. I have lots of great things that people, all the people that work for me love it. Buy them lunch, give them incentives, everything. I do seminars, I read books, I go to seminars, I learn things on how, the book, The Platinum Rule, which is what you need to read, just a good advice. It's a great way to build a team because none of us can do all this alone. So anything you have an idea. So I started building homes back in, this was actually still in the 90s, 11 years on Star Island. Gloria Estefan's across the street. Got many stories of Star Island that could mean many more hours of interviews for you, but it has nothing to do with this one.
Okay.
It has a lot to do with Pablo Escobar. Coming
Pablo
to my
Escobar?
house. Yeah, coming to my house.
Wait, Pablo Escobar came to your house?
Yeah.
What year was this?
I hung out with Pablo Escobar many, many times, and Juan Almeida, Pepe Nunez, Ralph, and everybody from Cocaine Cowboys, and we were all friends, and I took first place in the Miami Offshore Grand Prix, and they would land helicopters in my house constantly on Star Island, come into my house. I had food just for them in the refrigerators. I had my maids and everybody and all them to clean up after they left, and they would take me in a helicopter. We'd go to these great events and race boats and look at all the cool stuff that they were making, and I never questioned. We didn't have Google. I don't know who these people are. I thought they were businessmen. They like to race boats like I did. I'm a motocross racer, a boat racer. I'll race anything.
They were businessmen. I mean, that part was technically true, but
so you want to know the plot about Star Island? Like there could be just Vanilla Ice on Star Island, and you could have a whole book of so many Gloria Estefan stories and Naib and shooting rockets and potato launchers at the tourists off my dock, almost having me arrested. And when I was in London, I had to come back home. I had 10 cops at my door, throw handcuffs on me, said I've been firing rockets at freaking boats. And I knew who it was because I loaned my potato launcher to Naib Esteban. Anyway, back to your question.
What was Escobar like in person?
Pablo was a great person in person. Yeah. This sounds ridiculous. First of all, I had no Google. You don't go up to people and go, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
I have no idea, bro. The guy's loaded. He's got a Testarossa. I had a Porsche that smoked him. We raced. I raced Pablo Escobar and Juan Almeida. They had both Ferraris. And I had a Porsche Gambala Cyrus that was like crazy horsepower. And so I smoked them and I wanted to race anybody. And I said, mine's faster than yours. And that's the kind of stuff we did. And we would go out and race boats. We were always on boats. So there was always a bunch of bikinis floating around everywhere. Here's Vanilla Ice here. There was Randy Lanier and all these race car drivers and cool people and all my Rick Conti. I mean, you could go so deep into this Pablo Escobar story that you forget about all the questions you came here to ask me.
Okay.
And it's a very fascinating thing. And they do have me. If you want to see a movie on how Vanilla Ice is tied in with any of this, just watch The Odessa Project.
Okay. I'm about to go watch it.
So Tarzan, one of the big Russian mob guys that bought this submarine, the nuclear submarine, said, how did you meet Pablo Escobar and Juan Almeida? And he goes, I met him through Vanilla Ice. Watch the movie.
Okay.
It's a documentary.
Wait, no, I did watch it.
The Odessa
I did watch. Yeah, it's about buying the
drugs,
you're right,
bringing all the drugs in from Ecuador first.
Yeah, the guy was in Africa
submarine.
somewhere.
So I go over there and I say, Juan, why did you buy a submarine? He goes, fucking cool, ain't it? I go, wow, you got a submarine? He goes, yeah, we can go down. You want to go down? I go, no, I'm a little bit claustrophobic. He goes, what did you get that for? He goes, just for fun. Why not? Like, okay, cool. Next thing I see USA Today, that they had been moving drugs from Ecuador or somewhere out there to America in a mini submarine, and they couldn't fill it up enough, and it was too slow. And they needed more. And they bought a nuclear giant submarine to get the drugs in, and they did a big thing out of Russia.
Yeah.
And a Cold War submarine that they had already committed to buy it.
Yeah.
Watch the story, you'll understand.
No, I watched it. Now that you say it, I actually remember
it's
the documentary.
Wildest thing that everybody knows. The Cocaine Cowboys, which was just kind of a small part compared to the Pablo part. They were just working kind of for Pablo.
Yeah.
They got a big name as the Cocaine Cowboys. That's not the big thing for, not even close. They're like this big, the Cocaine Cowboys on the Miami drug scene compared to the Pablo scene.
Oh, yeah.
And the Don Aronow scene. And it's funny how this whole thing just went right and left. Your interview about Vanilla Ice is like, what the? So anyway, keep that in mind. Do some research. Set up another interview. We'll go over that one.
Okay.
You'll love it.
2023. How much property do you own?
Right now?
Right now.
Whew. Well, it's November, so I got to pay all my property taxes. So that's when I find out. Every year I forget about half of them because I've owned them for over 30 years. I buy land, I buy properties, sight unseen. So if you're really trying to figure out how I made my money, is I self-educated myself. I read books, like I told you, the Platinum Rule, and I built a team. And then I learned about real estate and every single aspect about real estate through another book that a guy named Robert Sheeman wrote. And I followed all the guidelines. I'm one of the guys that way back in the 90s bought the Carlton Sheath course. And I want to educate myself on everything. And I didn't learn anything by that, by the way. But I picked up
Hold on, I just want to interrupt you for a second because I just want everyone to know, to point out that by 18 years old, you had only gotten to the 10th grade and you dropped out of high school. So this is a high school dropout whose music career wasn't making as much money as before, and you were smart enough to completely pivot and learn all this on your own. I just want to point that out.
I was smart enough at 16 to leave that school and not drool on my desk anymore and go make millions, which is what I did the minute I left. And I knew where I was going. Some people, they don't have any direction. They don't know when they wake up what their purpose is for the day. They don't know what their meaning in life is. They don't know what direction or even how to put a right foot forward to even follow a dream or to make it come to reality, right? So those people have, you have to first of all understand that you have to get up early to make things happen. You have to have some sort of idea of what your purpose is here and what you're going to put your goals and what are you doing? We can all wake up, twiddle our thumbs, figure out what we're doing during the day. But without purpose, without meaning, without drive, without ambition, your dreams will never be anything more than just dreams. So I'm a person that takes dreams and makes them into reality. I lost, my house got completely demolished in a Category 5 Hurricane Andrew, took the roof off of my house, 2.5 years. Instead of hiring people to build it back, I built it myself. And because I paid big money to these decorators and stuff, writing big checks. And I'm like, Jesus, you did a great job, but didn't see that check coming. And I go, and let me follow you around, right? And I followed him around. And then 18 years ago, I went to design school and I actually got a degree and learned how to, yes, I have a degree in design and I'm a GC as well, 31 years.
General
builder.
contractor.
So I'm a builder contractor and I know how to go to work. My mom says, you just dance your way through life. I go, what's that mean, Mom? She goes, as long as you're having fun, you'll get way more things done. I go, how does that mean? She goes, you can't dance if you're miserable. I go, Jesus, Mom, you're making so much sense to me. How do you make yourself, if you're having the worst day in your life, just start dancing immediately? Can you? You physically can't. It's almost an impossibility. It's like, why would I dance? I'm freaking hating life right now, right? You can't. But if you surround yourself with dancers, they're always happy. If you're dancing, you're always happy because it's impossible for you to be miserable if you're dancing. It's just a form of happiness. Mom says, dance your way through every problem you have in life. You'll always be in good shape and you'll never take anything too serious in life. I said, that's so good, Mom. So good. He says, you're going to die one day and you're going to look back. I have the 12th ninja who just passed away at 100. He reached 100. His name is Lou. I call him the 12th ninja. He was in the Navy, had all these spit tattoos where they just spit on the next guy, don't clean the needle and go in. To the next guy next. And he told me, I said, give me some advice, Lou, you're 100. What does he say? He says, you know what? First of all, slow down. I said, okay, I get it. He goes, you're going too fast. I said, so, okay. And what else? He goes, everyone you ever meet, no matter how serious they sound, they're all full of shit. Everyone's full of shit, no matter what. So, okay, Lou. And then the number 3, don't stress about anything. I know that's easy to sound, but look at where I'm at right now. You know how many times I went back in my 30s and looked at when I stressed, my 40s when I stressed on this, and I took it so freaking serious. And here I am at the end of my life, and you're going to be at the end of your life. So I'm just telling you right now, for the rest of the things that you think you're going to stress on, don't stress on them so bad. You You're going to be where I'm at the end of your life. Don't take it so serious.
I love it.
Enjoy your ride through life. Smiles are contagious. Get it how you live it. Don't take all the pressures of everything from bills to family to relationships to politics too serious. Go have a pina colada, come to Florida. Got a new restaurant. I'm opening up a brewery right down the street right here. It's called Vanilla Ice Brewery. It'll be open the end of March. Downtown Lake Worth. Got 7 beers, all named after celebrities. And I got a Coolio beer. My
Coolio beer.
That's
Okay.
right. I'm gonna have some rapper
Rest in
beers.
peace, Coolio. I got
That's
to interview
right.
him before he passed.
It's my dog, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I got goosebumps. I was with him the day before he died. He says, I'll
Really?
see you tomorrow, bro. We're on the I Love the 90s tour together.
All right.
He came on stage with me. The last performance he ever played and stood on stage was with me.
Huh.
That's why I get goosebumps, man. That's my dog. You have no idea. Me and Coolio were tight, bro.
Sorry if you're lost, man. I just got to meet him in an interview, but that's it.
Yeah, it's up here right now on me. Because it just happened, but that's a whole nother thing, man. And I wish they'd overturn that case, like all this stuff with the LAPD and everything, because I think there's injustice all over that. I'm just saying that.
You and I grew up in an era where people would tell me that hip hop won't be around in a couple of years. It's true.
They were saying that.
It's true. They were saying that.
Back in the day,
saying
they're
that.
like, this
in
is
the
a joke,
mid
this'll
to
be
8
gone.
90s, you know, kind of like how go-go kind of became just a little local thing in DC, but it really didn't become worldwide. But by 1999, it became the #1 genre in the world. You go to Russia, hip hop is the #1 genre. China, hip hop is the #1 genre. You know, and you kind of helped expand that to the world.
Not
yes,
kinda.
you started to tour
I did.
internationally.
Here's the thing.
And start to introduce non-American
Yep.
fans to hip hop.
Yeah.
So are you surprised that it is as big as it is right now?
Oh, shocked. 100%. How
Yeah.
could anybody have a crystal ball and say, I saw this coming? You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Nah, the impact is huge, man. I see it and it's amazing. And I know it's a wave and it's much bigger than a song. And people are still trying to figure it out because I leave them in the dust. I go so fast that they can't keep up with me, man. And that's the way I run things. I'm at a pace that is perfect for me, but usually much faster than anybody else. And I'm one step ahead of everybody. And that's my whole ninja tactic thing. I am a ninja, for real. And I surround myself with ninjas. And you may not know what that means, and it may sound funny, and you may think it has something to do with Ninja Turtles or something like that. There's so many different variations of this ninja thing and being elusive and understanding how it works, that it is almost like a little subculture that we have. And all my guys that work with me in construction, they're all ninjas. We all call ourselves ninja. What are you doing? Ninja, ninja, ninja. Sounds funny, funny, but there's actually an underlayment there that we all have an understanding of what that really means. And it really is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. And if you live that lifestyle, you know how to handle everything in life, if that makes sense. No matter what they throw at you in an interview, or no matter what real life things come to you that may take more people off of their momentum or drive or focus or what they're doing, and it doesn't affect me. You can throw rocks at me and I'm staying focused. I see the finish line. You can throw watermelons. You can try to knock me off, derail me, and I don't derail that easy. Does that make sense? Most artists I see that are weak. I saw this new movie the other day with my wife. It was called Priscilla. And my daughter's name's Priscilla, my 5-year-old. We're huge Elvis fans. And I saw that movie and it made me look at Elvis a little different, because this is from her perspective, not Elvis. This is not the story of Elvis that we know. It's the story that she lived with him. It just came out, right? So I got a different perspective of Elvis, and I call him weak now. And he's my hero. And I named my daughter after him. I even went to Graceland and made out in every room. Hey, we're in the jungle room. Kiss me. Selfie time. And, you know, it's amazing that I watched this movie and he was weak because of the drugs. I know that I'm stronger than Elvis, because I had every right to end up in that 27 club. And he did drugs the whole time and didn't have enough self-discipline to pull himself out of it. And I see him, that makes him weaker to me. And cheating all over her like that, I don't cheat, man. I don't do that. I love someone, and if love is real, Frank Sinatra said it best. You're nobody if nobody loves you. You're nobody if you don't have somebody that loves you. So it's the true story, man. Love is the meaning of life, more bigger than any word with religion or anything you could ever say. It is the religion. It is what we don't have to die to figure out if it's real. How much love do you have for your children? How much love do you have for the person that gave, everything, you have it. It's real. It's not something that may be there when you die or maybe not. It's here while you're alive, right? So this is the thing we should all cherish more than anything in this world today, because I think the world needs more love, man. It's a snow globe out there. And everybody's taking everything so serious. And with our propaganda in the news and all this stuff, I think that we all should come together because we're all one. This is all one country. We're not divided. The news channels want you to be divided. And I don't think that we should listen to them. I think we should all have enough wisdom to understand that we're all one. The whole planet. One. We're all one.
You and Tupac were friends early on. Back when he was a dancer with Digital Underground?
Yeah, Tupac and I are good friends.
Yes.
Good dude. Gave me some of my greatest advice because he saw me going through hell with all the hatred and all the shit, and he stood up for me and said straight up, Ice, you're fucking dope. He goes, I want you to know you're one of the great ones. You're dope. You're going to leave your mark, your legacy. And this is before it happened. He knew it. This guy had a crystal ball. He saw things, bro, and it makes me get goosebumps. But if anybody ever knew, how did he know these things? Tupac knew things before they happened. It may be mystery and weird and sounding, but I think other people probably tell you the same thing if they knew him. Shock G was a friend of mine too. We had Tupac stories.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. A
Big
lot
loss.
of my friends.
I really wanted to interview him so badly, and I just couldn't get a hold of him ever. He was just,
Dude, you have to
his last 2
understand,
years, he was just who knows where. He was just on
his thing.
Yeah, on a different plane.
He's always been on that different plane, man.
Yep.
But he was a legend himself.
Absolutely.
Super creative.
I would say there'd be no Tupac without a Shock G.
100%.
That's what I would say.
Or Vanilla Ice. You could say that, because how did it happen? There was no funding until I came along. I'm not looking for credit.
Tupac was hot.
I don't
before
need no
Death Row.
credit for anything at all. Don't look for it. Don't even have an ego to care, to need any credit. I don't give a shit. What I'm just telling you is the truth, the way things played out. And from Suge Knight to Death Row Records, getting the money to start that and making the Chronic record. That's where a lot of that came from, which you interviewed Doc, who wrote that whole record.
Yeah, that's my man.
And we all knew that. We Doc, you made it, man. Finally, bro, you came from D-Town and made it, homie.
Yes.
Because we all got love for each other in the streets in D-Town. It's the hardest place to make it from.
He spoke very highly of you. I spoke to him this morning.
I got his number. I talked to Doc, man. He's
That's
a legend,
my man.
bro. Him and Hal, my engineer, I have an energy drink company called Joyburst, which is amazing, by the way. Plug. Hope you put it in your interview here. Go buy you a Joyburst. It's on Amazon. You can get it at Costco. You can get it at Walmart right now. And we have the new 5.0 flavor. I don't know if you had it yet, but you're going to have one before you leave.
5.0.
Which I have sitting over there, my original 5.0 sitting in that.
Oh, the same car from the
Same
video?
car.
No.
My original 5.0.
Can we get a shot of that later?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s first race car over there. I've got Elvis Presley's car over there. I got Dean Martin car over there, all from Hollywood Cars.
Tupac got killed in 1996. How badly did it affect you when you heard?
Well, Tupac got killed, and I wasn't surprised, and that's sad, because I think everybody kind of saw, like, how can this guy still be alive after he got shot the first time and the second time, and then now a third time?
Well, no, he got shot once. There was another time he got shot?
Talking about besides the New York
Well,
studio?
there was the Quad Studio shooting, and then, of course, Vegas. What was the third time?
There's actually another one. There's two more you don't know about. And got shot at.
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that.
Skimmed.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So it didn't go to, he went to the hospital for it, but wasn't life-threatening.
Okay.
So, could be even more, and I don't even know. But my point is that how can a guy have all these bullets flying at him and still, you know what I'm saying? We all kind of, it's a crazy story, and I got to really watch what I say on all this, because I do know too much, and I'm not going to elaborate.
Fair enough.
So I let that unfold, and I'm glad it's unfolding, and I'm glad that some justice may be getting done, but it ain't gonna bring him back, bro. And we lost a great person because of greed, money, power. We lost a great poet. Not to drugs, like the other people that we had been mentioning and stuff like that, but to a gun.
Yeah. Well, just recently, Keefe D got arrested for the murder of Tupac.
Yeah.
And I did the Keefe D interview 4 years ago, where I basically, how I say, solved the whole case. He told
You were
whole
the one
story.
who did that. That's right. I saw that. I just now put that together, Vlad.
Yeah.
I did see that, and I
Right.
was like, how did he incriminate himself on there like that, right? And then that's what led to opening up the investigation again, right?
It was a big part of it because, well, he had written a book, and I got the first interview with him based on that book, where I had him lay out the entire story from beginning, during, and after.
Good job, bro. You pulled it out. Good stuff, man. You know, everything leads to something, and what you did probably led to the opening of the investigation because, you know, LAPD don't want to open up some old file 30
Well, it's
years
Las Vegas
ago.
PD, actually.
It was Las Vegas, but you're right, Las Vegas. They don't want to open up a file 30 years ago, and why? Let it be gone. And I think they wanted the message to be saying, well, see, if you go out there and do gangbanging and do that, trying to leave a message, propaganda again, through the news channels and shit, you know, that this is what happens if you go out and live a gangster lifestyle. You die, like Biggie and Tupac. That's not true. You know, it's not true. If it's true, then every gangster rapper would be dead, right? It's not true. Tupac, unfortunately, his talents were so great that too many people wanted to take a piece of him.
Yeah.
Too many people wanted a piece of that money. And I think it killed him.
Yeah, unfortunately. And then you were also friends with Biggie, who got killed 1 year later.
I was. Man, it's amazing how many friends I've lost.
Mm-hmm. Sad.
It is sad.
Sad. And that murder, I don't think will ever be solved. You know, I get deep into these stories, and I talk to
think
a
it
lot of
will.
people. The Biggie, no, I don't think so.
I think Biggie will.
Okay.
I think once you figure
I
out.
hope you're right.
I think
I hope you're
here's
right.
my thing, and I know more than I should say, and I won't say. And I'm going to say that they will catch him because you've already started the path. Stopping right there.
Stop right
You're
there.
already starting to uncover the fog.
Yeah.
It's going to start becoming more focused as you keep going in. Just keep going. It's there. Streets know. There's so many people who know. Nobody snitches. Nobody does that. Nobody's going to put a target on their head and just be like,
Well,
yo,
but-
right here.
Right, but everyone knew who killed Tupac for years. It was like
Yes.
LA's worst kept secret.
Yes.
I knew since
And Biggie.
well, the Biggie part I don't know. I'm
Mhm.
telling you. I'm pretty connected,
Yes.
man.
People know.
I'm
You
pretty
serious?
connected. I'm serious.
You think no one knows?
Well, I think that whoever knows is either dead or is going to take it to their grave.
Some people are dead, but there's people who know.
Okay.
And there's some that will take it to their grave.
Mm-hmm.
But just because someone else knows, they can take it to their grave, but somebody else might expose them.
Yeah,
I don't know
but it'll
who.
be secondhand information.
All I got to
and-
say is that
yeah.
the layers of fog to get onto the focus of who did kill Biggie are there. They're going away right now by the Tupac thing. They are.
Okay.
There's.
I found out a couple years ago that I have OCD.
I think it'll all be discovered.
I found out a couple years ago that I have OCD. It explained a lot of things about my
You
personality.
and me both.
And I found out you have it too.
100%.
I feel like it's a superpower in a way.
I use everything that I have, whether some people think it's a bad thing,
Yeah.
as a good thing. Because
Yeah.
if you read the Platinum Rule, you'll understand we're all different. There's 4 types of people on the planet. There's thinkers, there's relators, there's socializers, and there's directors. And you are all one of the 4. And once you learn that, you'll understand how to build a team to be successful for business and stuff, but you'll also be a better judge of character when you walk up. For someone that does what you do, it might be good to read this book just to be like, I understand you. But I think you are a relator. So you probably, because you research things, you understand and you want to know. So it makes you, you have a gift for being fascinated, right? By all these details. And it's so cool to you
Yeah.
that you want to get to the bottom of it.
Yes.
To somebody like me, I don't give a shit about any of these details. You're different than
Yeah,
me
it's
because
all
I'm a
good.
director. I'm
Okay.
not a relator like you.
Mhm.
I'm a director, socializer. I cannot be behind a cubicle or a computer very long, but thinkers and relators can. You're a relator.
Yes.
You spend a lot more time behind your computer than I do.
Absolutely.
I have to be out and about and doing things. Socializers are guys that you could never put behind a computer. They're the people that are loud, like Wes Kane. If you put him behind a computer, he would die, right? He'd be like, I got to go out and be loud, man. Hey, everybody. You put him in the middle of a convention and you want to sell shower curtains, he'll get everybody in there. When you're selling 1 billion shower curtains, Wes Kane will sell more shower curtains than any person in the building. Hey, everybody get over here. He can walk in a big group of people and have no nerves and be like, yo, check me out. I'm Wes Kane. Come buy my shower curtains or whatever he's selling. If you put a thinker or a relator in there, they don't like big groups of people.
Yeah,
They
that's
feel
me. Yeah,
intimidated.
I don't like groups. I'm not a socializer.
Because I read the
You're
Platinum
right.
Rule.
You're
I
reading
know
me
you,
right
bro.
now.
I read
Yeah.
you in 4 seconds I met you.
Yeah.
I knew. I can tell anybody. That's that book. It'll teach you how to be that quick.
The Platinum Rule, right?
The Platinum
I've
Rule.
already written it down.
Done.
I'm about to go get
My
it.
man. You're going to learn a lot this one, brother. Hey, get to work out there. That's what it is, you know?
Yep.
Life is short. Make fun, have fun, and enjoy every moment. Smiles are contagious. The person that wins this life, I just lost another friend of mine. His name is Cinderella Sal. He got hit by a freaking Mack truck, bro. Ran a red light.
Wow.
Probably rolling a joint. Ran a red light. I think he might be 59, he was. All the shit that didn't kill him in life. And then he just does this. He's on his way to the doctor, right? But one thing I learned from this guy, he was broke. Couldn't rub 2 nickels together. Never had a penny. You call him, he goes, and no matter what, this guy was never unhappy.
Okay.
Go take a lesson. I learned more from the broke guy than I did from all the rich billionaires I live around. This guy said, they repossessed my truck, dude. They came and picked it up this morning, but I didn't make payments for 4 months on it. I got to drive it around for 4 months for free. And I'm like, man, there's a positive there.
There's a positive
I'm getting
there.
a motorcycle soon, man. So I'll drive that around for a while. You know, mom, I live with mom. I'm 58. She does my laundry. And I got a girl coming over, you know? And he goes, I lost my job, dude, yesterday. But I got a girl coming over today, man. And mom's got cooking. Never unhappy. Always smiling, always happy. It never had money. So if you can be that happy without any material things and stuff, take some lessons from people like that. You know what I mean? And I live next to billionaires here. Some of the conversations are boring as hell that you have with them. You can't tell them about a vacation you've taken, no matter if you're Vanilla Ice and you've been to great places. It's like, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, I own that island.
Yes. You can't say I just bought a new Ferrari. It's badass. They're like, I own half the company, got 18 in the garage. What entertains you guys? And you know what it is? They like art.
Yeah, me too.
I do too. But
like
to
art.
sit and talk about why Van Gogh cut his ear off, it only lasts you get my attention for maybe 10 minutes and then you lose it. Do you have anything else to talk about? It's like when your wife talks about hair and nails and she goes on and on about the color of their nails. You're like, oh, really? You have to force yourself to interest, right? You're not really interested in it. You lose interest quick. That's what happens out there. Anyway,
Vanilla
I can go
Ice.
off in many different directions on you. I'm a talkative dude. I'm the guy
Yes.
that'll sit on an airplane and tell you my life story in 10 minutes with a big cup of coffee.
Yes.
But I love talking. I hate computers. I'm a guy that wants to go back to the 90s so freaking bad that I just kind of live in it anyway.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up, I think, oh, that's a 90s looking color shoe. Dope. And I still use my words, dope.
Dope.
I don't care.
Fresh.
Fresh, bro. And people look at me like, hey, if these shoes are still cool today, the word dope is still cool today. They can't come up with a better sneaker than the 90s. The 90s was the sneaker, 80s and 90s,
all
right?
the Jordan retros.
Jordan retros, still the #1 selling shoe today.
Yes.
LeBron can't sell one shoe compared to the million that Jordan sells, correct?
Facts.
And the Air Force One is just taking on a life of its
Yes.
own. And let's just go, I mean, the Vans were from the 90s. They're still going strong.
Yep.
You have shoes. What other ones? Man, the Chuck Taylors from the 70s still going. You have so many shoes, man, that are still going. The pump is gone.
Yeah.
Remember, you used to pump
but,
up.
but you know something? Shaq is now the president of Reebok, so he may bring it back. And
Shaq should run for president.
oh yeah, I can see that. He should.
I could see him winning it.
I could see him winning it too.
And I'd be all over that.
I would totally vote for
Let's go for the Shaq for president.
it. You actually performed at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago for.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the celebration for his election or something?
No,
what was it?
I played for, it was a party. It was a Christmas party. It was a Christmas party. Played for a holiday party.
New Year's Eve party.
New Year's party.
New
Sorry.
Year's Eve
It's
party.
New Year's. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I played for New Year's. He's a legend, bro. Trump. Forget about the presidency. First of all, I don't vote. I don't care about politics. Never have. Never registered. Have no opinion about anything. I have fans on both sides of all that, and I would never alienate them. And I just look at it like, you guys get caught up in that mess. You go sit in your voting line. They don't pay you. They don't pay you to go form an opinion about that guy or this guy. But yet you fall victim to all of it, right? Like, turn the news channel off. Go to Florida. This is why Florida exists. We have palm trees and pina coladas while you're sitting in your voting line, watching your news channel going, I don't like Trump, I don't like Biden, I don't like what's going on in my life. You're 50 something, right? Like me?
50.
So we've lived through dozens of presidents, man.
Yes.
Ain't nothing ever changed. Why would you fall victim to the propaganda, to the opinion forming? They don't pay you a penny.
No, fair
Now
enough.
let's look at the end of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You have a list. What did I spend all this time on?
Who did I vote
Let's
for?
calculate all of it together and put it in a circle graph, and then you'll see that the graph that you thought was an hour on TV here one night, 2 hours on TV, watching the news or the debate, or standing in a voting line, and then you'll go, how much did they pay me for any of that? Zero. How much money could I have made with all that time? A lot. How many pina coladas and beer and good times could have I been having instead of sitting in a voting line or having an opinion or a conversation just about Trump for 2 hours with my grandma or something?
Yeah.
Try me. Watch what I do. I've become an expert at changing opinions and different things and the whole topic. I'm just like, listen, you got to understand that you're falling victim. Don't be the sheep. If everyone jumps off the freaking cliff, are you going to jump off it too? Of course you're going to say no, but you're all being sheep. Wisdom is a thing that we all need, and Generation X knows it more than anybody on the planet. And I feel sorry for the kids growing up in this world today, playing Fortnite and shit. That's not reality. Let's get real, man. Reality is what you and I are doing right now. We're talking in person, public, and seeing each other, not through a computer screen. Mm-hmm. We are the last living generation that'll ever know what it's like to live without a computer. That'll never happen again. We are the last living ones.
That's true. No, everyone's growing up with computers now. Everyone's growing up with cell phones.
Cyber world is not real.
Little kids have iPhone watches now. It starts early.
Exactly my point, man.
Yes.
It's all basically set up for you to be a sheep. It's you know what I call it? The carrot and the rabbit technique. They all the people who are using it, whether they're Freemasons, politicians, whoever they are, news channels, everybody has a carrot and a freaking, and they're reeling them in. And they're reeling, come this way with my carrot. Am I right? And everybody, we're all rabbits. Don't be a rabbit.
Vanilla Ice, man. Number one, you're still on tour. You're still doing shows constantly.
Yeah.
You're still selling millions of records.
I'm still the oldest.
Constantly.
Still the oldest teenager in town.
Still the oldest teenager. You're worth
more than it says.
Millions and millions and millions of dollars. You have tons of property. You have a thriving business. You were telling me before the interview that you can't do all the work that people are throwing at you right now. You're actually raising the prices, thinking that some of them will go away, but they're still paying.
Yeah.
Like to see someone at your age to have the run that you had in music and continue to be successful in other areas and still tour, just not because you need the money, but because you love it.
My fans.
Because of your fans.
Love my fans.
To still have these songs be timeless, considering how badly you got bashed. I'll be honest, I've seen hip hop from the very beginning. And I think about all the people that have been hated on in hip hop, and I think they've hated on you more than any other rapper in the history of hip hop. I would challenge
and
anyone in
pause
the
right
comments.
there, and then you have to say who's the most successful rapper of all time in the history
You're
of
definitely one of
hip-hop.
them. You're definitely one of them.
I'm just trying to say is that every bit of that fuels the fire, especially for someone like me who lines up on the starting line of motocross every time I wake up in the morning to go be competitive. I'm super competitive. When you tell somebody you can't do something, you don't go, oh, maybe I can't. I'm never that guy. I'm so confident. I'm like, well, fuck you. I can too. What is it I got to do? I don't even know what it is, but I know I can do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Purpose, drive, ambition on a level of people can't understand it because of the level of confidence that you have to be successful at everything you do. It's just something that you need to obtain some direction in your life. And then when you get the direction, you put everything into that, all your purpose, all your meaning, and wake up with drive and ambition every morning to be the first one at the finish line.
Man, listen, this was a very inspiring story. Definitely amazed at not only what you pulled off back then, but what you continue to pull off year after year. Yes, you've had your stumbling points. Yes, you got on drugs, but you got off of them and you stayed off of them. You started a whole different business that has nothing to do with hip hop and you excelled at it. You're still doing your thing, and the music, all the music that people were downplaying and saying, oh, this is not real hip hop, this is not authentic, this is this is that, is still getting played. Like I said, I just watched the Ninja Turtles movie, and there goes your song in it. your Ice Ice Baby still sells millions of copies this day. I actually looked it up. Ice Ice Baby has about 1 billion streams on all the streaming networks when you put Spotify and YouTube. I don't even know what the Apple number is, so it might even be more than that. But what I'm saying is, in the age of streaming, which was decades after these albums and songs were released, you are still getting the views and the plays and the streams. So no matter what they say about you, all you got to do is say, look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard.
That's hilarious.
Am I right?
I never thought of it like that. But you got a great perspective. Yeah,
the scoreboard is the scoreboard.
Yeah, it is.
It's not your opinion.
Right.
You could like me, you could hate me, you could say I'm this, you could say I'm that. You could side with someone who says this, but look at the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And with you, Vanilla Ice, the scoreboard proves what the truth is. And I truly appreciate the time that we sat down today.
Oh, you're awesome, Vlad. Thank you, man. Thanks for the therapy.
Yes, that's what it is.
It's great, though, you know. I don't really talk about things too much that happened 30 years ago and all the details of all these things. And you pull it out and make it interesting and fun. And, yeah, it's like, for me, everything just happened yesterday. But I see the years go by. I know that. But, geez, man. I guess I keep myself so occupied with what I got on my agenda list that everything in the past becomes history. And it's amazing that I've made history, and it's impactful that it will be remembered long after I'm dead.
Yes.
And my kids will be able to enjoy that and all them publishing and money and all that stuff that I've laid out for them and everything.
Yes.
And that's kind of my purpose for the financial part. I never have a real care about the finances. I just want to be able to do what I want to do as far as build dreams. And that's what I do. Whether I build dreams in homes or build dreams in people's ambition at home, getting inspired by what Vanilla Ice did throughout his life. And that is all positive. And I believe that the world needs positivity right now, and it's infectious. So if it's Vanilla Ice you get it from, take it and run with it. Be positive, go out and do something with your life. You're here for a short time, make it a good time.
Yes, and you've created, like you said, multi-generational wealth.
Yes.
Publishing, property, investments. It was amazing how you told me you haven't sold damn near any of your properties over the last 30
Hardly
years.
any.
You still have built this up and they've appreciated.
You have to
and
acquire
so forth.
assets. That's
you
the
have
way
to
you do it.
acquire assets, things that actually make money. It's just so
Generational
inspirational, man, because, you know, I've been dead broke before.
Yep.
And I know what it's like to have it all, then lose it all, and then have to take 10 years to build it back up. And you learn those lessons. You know what I'm saying? And you've stumbled before.
I'll never forget when I had nothing.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I slept in a trundle bed with my brother farting all over me, telling me at 8 years old or 6 years old, there's no Santa Claus. And I punched him in the face. You know, my mom, and I know what it's like. And I found happiness there, like Cinderella found happiness, right? And you can find it at any place. It's all up here, man. If you stay in the 90s, you're going to be happier. Keep your mindset in the 90s. Raise your kids watching YouTube 90s videos, and hip hop is better from the 90s than it is today. And that's not just me saying it. If you take a poll, you'll find out that it's the truth. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Is old school hip hop better than the new hip hop today? And I like all the new hip hop today. Don't get me wrong. But if you had to say, okay, which one's better overall, which one was the most impactful on your life?
Well, 90s era, the golden era. It just is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is
Nothing
what it is.
against Kodak Black. I love it all.
Yeah, you have a song with Kodak Black.
I do have a song.
Actually, it's a really good song. I got to hear it for the first time
You
this
should hear
morning.
my new song coming out this week.
With who?
Greatness and Violent J from ICP.
ICP. I've interviewed him before.
They're great people, all legends. Anyway, man, I just kind of, keep grinding. If you don't grind, you don't shine, bro. That's how it works in life. You know, you can't wait for things to land in your lap. You got to go out and make them land in your lap.
That's what it is. Vanilla Ice, man. All the best. Until next time.
Thank you, Vlad.
Peace.